Good afternoon and welcome to Speaking in Your Basement. I'm Ben Langley. I'm here speaking to you right now in my basement. Hopefully, you'll be practicing today wherever you can, be it your basement, a closet, a bathroom, in your car, wherever works for you, wherever you find yourself working on your speaking skills there, at least a little bit. If you do that every day over a period of time, you will build momentum and you'll become unstoppable. Your communication will get better and better and better. And that's all that's required is the willingness to keep coming back and practicing. Now, there's lots of interesting things you can add in. Like today, we're going to talk a little bit about ecology. Now, I've been wanting to talk to someone about NLP for a long time, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about it. We're not going to go mega deep today. We're just going to talk a little bit about something they call the ecology check. And I saw a lot of different versions of the notion of ecology in NLP. So when you think about what you want the environment of your life to be, when you're goal setting, you could think about this in advance and think, okay, who do I want to be able to speak to well? Is it a certain audience? Am I just thinking about professional speaking, or am I just thinking about interviewing better? Is it just interviewers? Is it interviewers at a certain type of job, say an IT job, or maybe a marketing job, or whatever else it is you're looking for, whatever industry you happen to be in? Is it just people in that industry? And of course, most people want to be better communicators in every area of their life, and that's fine. Just practicing a little bit in one area will tend to build some additional ability in every area, because practice just makes you better on a lot of levels. But primarily you're going to get highly skillful in one or a few areas, at least first. Long term, you may get highly skillful in a lot of areas, but at least at first, you're going to start seeing more dramatic improvement in one or a couple of areas. What areas do you want that to be? Is it your work, or is it your relationships, a certain friendship? What is it? Is it with your kids? Are you trying to reconnect with your kids? Or if you just have kids and you want to be able to talk to them a little bit better? Where is it most important to you to develop your speaking ability, to take your skills to the next level? That's part of the ecology check. Now, you can think about this while you're speaking to people, or preferably before you start speaking to people. You can think about, what do these people know about the topic I'll be talking about? What do they know about me in particular? So just because they know about the topic you'll be talking about, most interviewers know, if they're going to be interviewing somebody, they've seen lots, if they're in the IT field, they've seen lots of IT candidates before you showed up. But what do you want them to know about you in particular? Do they know something about you in particular? Have you seen these interviewers before? Have you met with them before? Have you interviewed for the company before? Sometimes you're interviewing for a better position at your current company. Are you familiar with the managers that are going to be interviewing you? Considering that, putting every little dial in place you can to give you the best advantage is what you want to do long term. And all it takes to begin with, every time someone mentioned anything like this to me in the past, it would always be the frustration of, I don't want to screw with that. I just want to keep it easy. And I get that. Finally, at some point, I stopped resisting it, or rather, I should be clear, I resisted it less. And since then, it's been easier for me to start doing this. Just take little dials in a variety of areas around any situation I'm in and start making them better. Start trying to improve things in small ways. And a lot of times, if you improve enough things in small ways, you get a dramatic effect. Now, when you see something that's a major, for example, if you're showing up to an interview dressed like you're homeless, when the job is going to require you to dress business casual or business formal, that's probably going to be a challenge. It's going to be very rare you're going to get hired looking like you don't know how to dress for the job. If you dress one level down, that might not kill you, but even that's not a good idea. If you're dressing multiple levels down, it's almost guaranteed to kill you. So that's one dial. And if that's it, you can find an inexpensive suit, even if it doesn't fit perfectly well. You can go to, get you a used suit, go to like a Goodwill or someplace like that, thrift shop, whatever. put together a suit. You might have to Frankenstein together that suit the first time, but once you start making more money, of course, you can start dressing nicer, start buying, going to the Men's Warehouse, which is about the highest level I've been to. But if you want to get crazy, you can do Savile Row, get the bespoke suit, go nuts with it if you want. But to begin with, you just find the easy way to make it a little bit better. And a lot of times that's finding an inexpensive way to buy a jacket, a blazer, whatever it is, to sharpen up your look. That's one little piece of how you present yourself, is the clothes you're wearing. But then there's body language, and there's tone, and there's the actual words you say, and there's your pace, and the actual content you're going to be speaking about. How well rehearsed are your stories? How familiar are you with them? Are you trying to make them up on the spot? That's tough. I'm not saying it's not a good thing to be able to do, but that's a tough thing. So, and you can see this applies in a variety of different realms of communication, of speaking. There's all these little things to put into place. So that's part of ecology, is setting up the environment as well as you can for your success. Thinking this out ahead of time and starting to write things down and kind of make little lists. Now, you got to be careful with lists. You don't want to just add so many things in that it's going to overwhelm you and you're going to think, to hell with it, and not ever actually do anything. But you do want to see the different areas you can improve. And if you want to kind of brainstorm like 20 different areas you can improve, so it could be an interview, whatever little area of your life or situation in your life you want to be more skillful at, you could think of that situation and think out, say, 20 things that could help you be better in that situation. So if you have a really nice suit you're already interviewing in, you don't really need to get better there, but you could see maybe having an even better suit could help you a little bit. Probably not if you're that good at it already, but a little bit you could see. So that's an area. But since you've already taken that area up to the point that you're wearing a nice suit that fits and, what have you, then trying to tweak that more is probably not going to yield a whole lot. Now, if you want to, if you just love fashion, you love suits or whatever it is, absolutely tweak into your heart's content. But if you're already pretty good there, and usually by the time you're wearing a 3-piece suit, you're doing pretty well, assuming it fits, then thinking about body language, thinking about tone, thinking about the stories you're telling, and the other areas that you can improve in that given situation is going to help you a lot more. And again, a lot of times, there's an old phrase, something like small hinges swing big doors. That's the ideal situation. It's not always going to happen. Sometimes you're going to find places to improve, but it's just going to be a grind. It's going to be some work, and get comfortable with that. It's tough. It's unpleasant. Start slow. Don't try to kill yourself with epic effort. Start slow, and then piece by piece, bit by bit, you'll build momentum in all these areas, and it won't be such a big deal anymore. You'll continually be pushing a little bit forward in a variety of areas, and it just won't be that big a deal. It'll just be how you live your life. And it's a much more satisfying to live life. It's a much more satisfying way to live life. So beginning to consider this is going to be a powerful way to communicate more effectively in any situation you find yourself in. And you can just think it out ahead of time. Just start planning it. And just the additional consideration of the situation is already useful. You've already paid attention to things in a way most people haven't. So if you do that and then you just start moving the dial, moving the needle slightly in a few different areas, you're already pushing past the vast majority of the population. You can do that now, both in terms of thinking out, brainstorming a couple of different areas where you would like to improve, and just brainstorming speaking in general. Where would you really like to have this skill? What are some different examples? Everywhere might be the ultimate truth, but be specific. I'm not going to have kids for another 5 years, but when I do have kids, I want to be able to communicate with them very effectively. So you want it with your kids at some point, even though you don't have kids now, as an example. I've got kids now, but you might as well. But just as an example, that's how you can start to plan this thing out. And that's the beginning of putting more focus into something, and the increased focus has a dramatic effect over time. Something like charisma, for lack of a better term, is partially a result of how much you put this extra focus in to whatever it is you do. So give some thought to the ecology, give some thought to the background, give some thought to the environment in which you want to speak, as well as the environment that you're going to bring internally to any speaking situation you're in. Interviews, public speaking opportunities, social situations, whatever it happens to be. Give that some thought. Write some of this down. Get some of it on paper and start considering it, and then look for the spots where small effort yields large reward. If you look closely enough, you will typically find one. And even the spots where it's large effort yields large reward, well, those are worth getting started on too. Get started slow. Don't try to turn your life into an epic grind all at once. But if you start slow and you build momentum, you start developing more and more interest. And less is it about this giant struggle to do too much. It's like all these cool things in your life, all these cool little interesting sub areas of speaking and communication that you're just moving things a little bit forward on here and there, but they get more and more interesting. It's like your life starts to unfold in a truly exciting way on multiple levels because you just started to pay a little more attention. Again, I'm Ben Langley. I hope you enjoyed today's session. We're going to work our way up to 21 sessions. I'll tell you why in a future session, just to get started here. And then I'll kind of get a little more clear on where we'll go, how we'll break things down. But thanks for showing up. If you keep showing up, particularly your individual private practice by yourself, if you keep showing up there, if you keep getting comfortable with your own voice, if you keep getting more comfortable with how you want to express yourself, getting a little closer to it every day, you're going to build that momentum. And in good time, you're going to be unstoppable. We'll talk again soon.